I do not know. Hi, what's up? We're in the second part. Please go check out the previous part to gauge your bearings. I do not know how it is that witches in this country or just across the world at all, why they could not forecast that this can't end well. Why they could not see other people in themselves and themselves in other people. In other words, if I can bewitch my best friend, how many people are bewitching their best friends? And what could be the overall end result of that on a national scale? Why could they not foresee that level of cataclysmia? Why could they not foresee that when you mess with your own family members, when you are out bewitching your own cousins, your own mothers, your own sisters, your own brothers, what does that mean on a multiplier in the entire country? That's chaos in families in the entire country. And a country is made up of families. We raise entire kings in households. So when you are ripping apart families single-handedly, where not as a member of a family, when you're ripping it apart with your spells, you're killing South Africa. You cannot think so in isolation, so as to anticipate that there's no one else like you. Like when people do witchcraft, how in the world do they think that the only people that found this like magic wand, they're the only ones that found this calabash? What makes you think that if you could be so severely rapacious, greedy, to steal the destinies of all of your siblings, that there are no other people on the earth like you? Add a multiplier, yo. Put an exponent on that. Grow it and recognize destruction of an entire country because of selfish people, individuals in individual households. You cannot go uyojonja igamba legacy. You can't go and steal the future of your sister and expect that there aren't 5 million South Africans somewhere also stealing futures of their sisters. So therefore, messing with 5 million South Africans that could have done something for the country that can't because they've been blocked by their own relatives. You literally cannot not see that, but you don't. The Lord throws people into confusion. He confounds their speeches. Ultimately, it is a destruction of an entire nation. Ultimately. Like, I recently just started noticing that I'm gaining subscribers on YouTube. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's because I'm doing shorts, but I don't want to get excited. I don't want to get ahead of myself. With an increase in subscribers and an increase in people looking at me, there's going to be an increase in guys DMing me for silly reasons. For the very reason that I kind of have been running away from, exploiting the situation capitalistically and opportunistically, realizing that a woman is suffering, she's beautiful, let me see if I can't, like, you know, try my luck there. Ungodly men that don't know God from a bar of soap, men that are married or are very vested, interested in some other relationship, but they're trying to see if they can't quickly get a woman that is suffering to pay attention to them because she's lonely. That's going to happen. And so with me getting these messages, there will also be an increase in the potential to get slapped by Korobela, by another stranger. And there are some that I would respond to and others that I wouldn't respond to, just based on the fact that I'm a single woman. And so if a man writes me that sounds like he could be sober in Christ, I will not ignore him until I've confirmed that, no, this is not what's going on. So I would then move on or something, let that go. But with me responding to anybody at all, that then increases the risk of me getting slapped with sorcery. And I remember just thinking, just the fact that my subscriber numbers are growing and somehow I seem to have leg room, maybe it's because I'm fasting. Look, I'm not going to optimistically look at this as anything that's going to beneficially stay that case, because I've grown before and then all of a sudden I was frozen. Because everywhere. Like, as soon as people start to notice that my stats are growing, as soon as people start to notice that my numbers are growing, as soon as they start to notice that I've got 5 new subscribers, 4 new subscribers, 10 new subscribers, 20 new subscribers, they go back to the drawing board and throw sorcery at me. So I'm anticipating a future of just being frozen again, even though I keep uploading shorts, even though I keep, But in the season of time, however many days it might last, for me to grow ever so slightly in my subscriber numbers, I will inevitably get contacted in my form, on my, in my form in my blog, or in my Gmail, for those who do find my Gmail address, or in DM space, in the DM space on Facebook. But with each new contact of my person, there is a risk that there's one of those crazies that are just floating around in these streets that can bewitch a complete stranger that they met on the internet. The havoc-wreaking disaster machine in America found me first on YouTube and then followed me to Facebook until I finally responded to him. And 2 years down the line, he's still slapping me with witchcraft. 2 years down the line, he's still the biggest bane of my existence, to a point where I literally want him dead. When I am facing those kinds of risks, 24 hours a day, as a Christian being aware of them, what is happening then to men and women in particular, that have got far less oppression because they're not Christian yet, or because God has not seen it fit to leave them be that severely targeted, even if they're Christians? What is the scope of attack slapping people with bigger channels than mine, bigger Facebook pages than mine, bigger TikTok accounts than mine, and especially those who are lost, unbelievers? What is facing these women that keep on uploading very provocative photos of themselves on the internet? Or if not photos, actual video footage. Or even if it's not provocative what they're putting up, but just a very beautiful woman doing a video with a full face beat. There's nothing licentious, nothing erotic, nothing, attracting, that should anyway attract the wrong attention. Nothing that suggests that I'm open to talk for business. Just a beautiful woman, and by mere virtue of being that beautiful. How many people are just experimenting in their little dingy corners on them, given that I get attacked when I have even a small season, a small opening, where I'm suddenly growing 5 subscribers like a day, 10 subscribers a day. When I have a season of that nature, it ultimately freezes, because that's just what happens in my life because of witchcraft. Hey, guys, God has we're going home, all right? The Lord has given me a hard life, yes, but like, it is what it is. I work like a day in the courtyards of Christ. One day in the courtyards of Christ exceeds and is better than 1,000 days in the courtyards of earthly kings. I'm good. Like, I've chosen right. That's all that matters. But what are people with a lot more subscribers, a lot more followers, a lot less affliction of their person, with more love around them, with that many more eyes on you, how many more random nutbags just go in their kitchens and whip up some herbs and experiment to see what's gonna happen if they bewitch this girl, this guy? Women that are thirsty like no man's business, out here trying to get boyfriends and husbands, seeing a cute guy online and then seeing if she can't whip up something before she goes or slides into his DMs. They experiment. Some of them don't even expect to get anything out of their experimentation. And when it works, they're like, oh, this stuff works. But what they don't realize is that they're throwing demons in the sky. They're manipulating people's minds. They're creating a chaos. Just the experiment on its own is enough to cause destruction, whether or not you expect it's going to work. And when we live in a world so full of people like that, can anybody look forward to a future? I have lived for a decade in this insanity of sorcery in my country, and I don't even think it's South Africa only. The guy in America tells me that it's not a South Africa, it's not an African issue only. It's global. It's global. So he is so far away that he should be disincentivized from continuing when the person he is targeting wants nothing to do with him, by the borders that separate us, by the oceans that separate us. That should be enough for him to be like, hey, I can't even take a drive to her apartment. I can't even walk to her neighborhood. I would have to get in an airplane, get a passport, a visa, like all these different processes. Not a visa. South Africa does not require a visa from Americans, but you get my point. All these processes that I have to go through, that this red tape that I have to go through in order to get to South Africa. This chick is too far for me to be so forceful. She's too far. But I have an American stalker. And for the life of me, I don't understand why he is not reasoning and rationing along the lines of, I'm not even in her neighborhood. He listens to my ministry, so he knows he's not the only one targeting me for that same end result. My ex-boyfriend at some point was trying. There's some random strangers that belong to a cult in my country that are trying. Like, they stand a better chance at finally getting at me than he does, and yet he is ambitiously continuing because he hopes the day's going to arrive when I finally see where he's coming from. The level of psychosis is what you find in witches. And they keep experimenting with, like, they don't even care about borders, yo. I guess, what is this? Platforms like OnlyFans they've proven that men and perhaps women do not care to not get actual physical affection or intimacy or love from people, insofar as people are prepared to show them their bodies. Then they will pay a hefty price for them. I mean, I find OnlyFans so confusing when there are free porn sites all over this country, all over the internet. There are images of pornographic images freely found on Twitter, on Instagram of women that are happy to go and just splash their bodies that way in front of men, and vice versa with men too. There are so many places where a person can go to watch a naked woman dancing, or even watch a pornographic image, just a photo. And yet there are people prepared to pay dollars and pounds and euros and rands and cents to people who put themselves on an OnlyFans site to give them a red light district strip show that can easily be found on a porn site. Like, I don't understand it, but what OnlyFans confirms is that people on social media do not care if you don't even like them. They don't care if you're not reciprocating feelings. They don't care if you are not trying to finish anything with them, romance them, or physically be with them in a sexual capacity. All they want is for you to send them a nude photo, and they will send you $200. All they want is for you to flirt with them even though you don't like them, in order for them to send you $500. That's all that's needed. And so I guess what's going on is that all these women are putting themselves in harm's way by allowing themselves to be chatted up by disgusting men and vice versa on the internet, in exchange for how much are you going to send me if I send you a photo of myself, knowing that she's in South Africa and he's in America, knowing that she's in South Africa and he's in Jamaica, knowing that she's in South Africa and he's in Spain, he's in Greece, he's in, you get my point. Does not matter that the distance makes it impossible for them to actually have sex. All she literally just prostituting oneself. The Bible even says that when you are angry, you commit murder with the heart, and when you are lustful, you commit adultery with the heart. So it's as good as having sex when you are out here having sexual discussions with a man on the internet. Crankhead, you know, when I'm to do it, I don't know. Hey, no. Ish, yes. How about no busy mo? Ish, my cat. Why doesn't she just stick to rules? But I guess that's just the nature of cats. Yeah, no, you commit all of these sins in your heart. They're as good as having been done. So how many porn stars exist, separated by a firewall, an internet firewall, in the sight of God? How many women are actually prostitutes in the sight of God? They're prostitutes because they sell they sell their bodies for money. Yeah, that's what they're doing, but without having sex. It's literally an increase of a body count in the sight of God. You are actually sleeping with a man when you are just doing such things with him on the internet. And so people are going to be very shocked out of their minds when they get to eternity to discover that God considered them as good as prostitutes because they kept on flirting with 10, 20, 15, 30 guys. What is this in the DM space on Facebook, and they were prepared to send them licentious photos, like a whole cleavage and everything. You know the guy's chilling in Ohio, America. You're not gonna meet. You're never gonna meet. And you know that he's likely flirting with like 20 other girls. But these men, and I guess women too, in some instances, are prepared to go and part ways with a whole $200 just because some woman showed him her cleavage. Never mind even displaying the areola or anything. That whole thing, that whole disgusting pornographic industry on the internet that is being done by regular Janes and Joes, backed up in its business model by the bizarre one of OnlyFans, just tells me that people are a lot more unsafe. They're in a lot more harm's way than they know spiritually, because these entities, when they're working in people, cause them so much irrationality that sometimes they even use witchcraft in order to get their fetishes fulfilled. I want her to stay flirting with me online all year because she's my favorite out of all the ones I have found. And so this woman just keeps on going back, panting after $200 to a man that is spiritually manipulating her. And he does not care that he's never ever going to meet her. He does not care that he's never ever going to physically see her, because I guess these days you don't have to meet in order for people to part ways with money and having sex with you. That insanity, that sexual perversion in that space, mixed with sorcery, I would imagine is destroying more marriages on earth than is absolutely comfortable to count on one's 10 fingers and toes. It is blocking people's marriage prospects, as in meeting a husband at all. Like, you can't be an OnlyFans model tantamount on Facebook to some dude in Bangladesh, for crying out loud, just to make money as a student and expect that you're going to meet the right husband in South Africa. You can't expect that level of sexual perversion is going to ukuvulela amasango for umchado. That makes sense. You will end up married to something similar to that slithering worm in Bangladesh, but in South Africa. You will end up choosing a husband or allowing yourself to be married to a man that is similar to your online sponsor, because you have opened a door. There are just so many spiritual consequences to actions of this modern era. So every time I get DM'd, I kind of low-key freak out. I cringe. Not everybody in the email space or the DM space is a creep of note. You can't avoid them all, because then you shut yourself off from the earth altogether. But every so often there are creeps of note. Every so often there are weird little strangers that thoroughly imagine that it is feasible for a Christian woman to send him a photo of herself. That's like, I actually had a guy ask me to send him a photo of myself. Oangola saying, a very interesting channel. I'm subscribed to you. Keep up the good work. What a fish paste. And I say thank you. I appreciate your support in that regard. And then next thing he's like, I'm here for you. I'm praying for you. And if you need, to pray, just let me know, blah, blah. I was like, thanks. Yeah, I'll let you know. And then he went on right ahead to ask me, in the meanwhile, it would be really great if you would send me a photo of yourself with that pretty smile. I was like, he DM'd me on Facebook, and I was like, first of all, my Facebook page has photos of me in it. So what do you hope to achieve out of asking for a photo from me when you can just see what my face looks like in my Facebook page? And secondly, I have like a whole video, again, a whole audio visual ministry where you can just click on a video of mine and see what I look like. So why do you want me to send you a photo? It's almost as if though it's a way to enter into some kind of a demonic contract when you agree to send a person photographs of yourself. First, you send him a photo of your mugshot or whatever, following which then he's going to be like, hey, like, you keep chatting, reels you in, induces lust in your bones, speaks to you like you're his wife, sweetie, darling, baby, like pretty face, all that jazz. And then next thing he's out here on some trying to get you to send photos of your breasts, your cleavage. Next thing it's your body. I guess that's how it starts. First is send me a photo of yourself, because if you're direct messaging a woman on Instagram, chances are you see, like, literally you have access to her whole Instagram page where you can see pics of her just splattered all over her page. So why would you go and ask her for a photo of herself inside a DM when you have access to her whole page? I feel as if though it is a portal, an opening, some kind of a demonic strategy to get you to open up to, I guess, sharing with a man in a direct messaging space footage of yourself that you wouldn't even put on your main page, because it's the kind of stuff that should be seen between just husbands and wives. This world is sick. It's disgusting. And just the fact that somebody could speak like that to a Christian woman, it just goes to show how dead people are, how blind they are, how not saved they are, how the things of God, it is written in his word, in God's word, that the things of God are foolishness to the man who is perishing. So when you are busy talking about Jesus, they just have no regard for the fact that you are actually filled by the actual God, the Holy Spirit, who is actually sanctifying you and actually there enough to raise alarms in your head on some, why is this guy asking for a photo of me? They have, like, it's almost as though Christianity is this cute little thing that when women have it, they're nice and naive. Alright guys, yes, and I guess that's what the great apostasy has, and I lamented about that yesterday. The great apostasy has made the wicked of this world undermine the true power of true Christians, because they have had access to so many fake ones. When you have encountered nothing but the fake stuff in these streets, you will then easily just speak to a true Christian like she's just some sexy Instagram chick. Without, like, if you found me on my YouTube channel, why are you not trepidatious? Why have you no consternation to approach me with that licentious attitude? Because I am obviously a gospel servant, and I'm always lamenting about such matters as these. So you listen to a woman like that, and you still find it in yourself to flirt with her like that. Have you no fear? Have you no trepidation? It's nothing in you, just anxious to speak like that to a woman. It is nothing in you anxious to speak like that to a woman like that. then again, they have no regard for true piety. They have no regard for true holiness. They don't see a difference between us and these carnal, fleshy women that call themselves Christians, however, on the internet. This age that we are living in, with women being so prepared to share bojotle ba bona online, you have no idea how spiritually corrupting it is to oneself, and also to how it is that people view you and what they expect you to be willing to do with or to them as soon as they start talking to you. It's like the world is so salivating after wickedness, so compromised, that they expect everybody in the world to just be content to be spoken to like that. When I was on the come up at Wits University first year, this thing was rare back then. But there was this one disgusting, licentious guy that was pursuing me on campus, that used to follow me all the way to the pretty much exit of the campus. It got so bad that I warned him that if he doesn't leave me alone, I'm going to report him to the dean of his particular school. He was a maths student, and this guy used to pursue me using a lot of sexual talk. Like, he would explain to me all the way as I was walking out, brisk walking, trying to exit the campus because I was literally running away from him. He would describe to me in very graphic detail what he would do to me sexually if I dated him. I had never been pursued like that in my life before. I felt violated. I felt raped by his language. I could not believe that he was speaking to me like that. I also could not believe that he was a whole mathematics student, so he was intelligent, and yet unable to grasp his head around the inappropriateness of what he was doing to me. And that whole experience has stuck to me ever since. It never let me go. I've never, ever been pursued like that. Ever. No guy has ever been that, like, broadly and brazenly disgusting until the past decade. Like, I saw a really evil, nefarious side of men when I lost everything. And I was like, these guys all remind me of that pervert at Wits. All along afterwards, and all along before then, I had dealt with relatively decent guys who know not to pursue a woman with sexual innuendo. But now, it's like they're littered all over the show, and it's all I see. I can't unsee it. And I'm like, if this is what the world has been reduced to, agunakamva, there's no tomorrow, do you not see? There is no way that we are going over here. Kuphelile. This is a done deal. It's a finished off occasion. Let's just seal the curtains. Let's close the door. Let's get out. Like there's nothing left. Makshelwa, mukans, aksena, anything is said. When guys hit on you using korobel. When a guy can't even talk to you in Jefela, timid, shy, but nonetheless musters up the courage, ukulma now, and sees if you will go on a date with him. If guys can't do that anymore, but I'm sorry. Like, I apologize, it's over. There's nothing left for the earth anymore. Fishnet stockings with whips cracking them like dominatrix. So much that they even go by your shella. Good girls, ganjal. Aksena luto, esele. There's no, like, godly men, rare, hard to come by. I'm single at 39 for those reasons. And one of the biggest reasons why things have gone to that point is because of people's sense of entitlement as a result of believing that they can get whatever they want insofar as they wave a magic wand. It is this thing that gives you ill-gotten gain. It is this thing that awards you with some of the best things in life without you working for them. You don't have to build character. You just need to know how to cast the right spell. You don't have to romance a woman. You just know how to make her a little zombie with spirals in her eyes, hypnotized by something about you. Agazi, why? She's spazzing so much about you. She's just spazzing. And that's all you got. You don't have to put your best foot forward. You don't have to. Like, you don't got to do jack, bruh. All you need to do is cast a spell. And seeing as that's so easy, now you don't gotta build character. You don't have to actually be a gentleman. You don't gotta be chivalrous. You don't have to open no doors because this chick is thoroughly gonna fly into your car. And everything for you because she just wants to be with you no matter what, because you've made her a puppet on a string using korobel. I don't know, like, how many men and women in this world are with men and women respectively. Women and men respectively. That they never would have chosen if they were not spiritually manipulated. I do not know. All I know is that it is so chaotic that Minaseng Sabanogo responda to pursuit by men. I am scared to respond to men. You know what? As I remember thinking in the kitchen earlier that men are allowed to pursue me because I'm a single woman. They're thoroughly allowed to. And I get to make a decision as to whether or not I will allow that pursuit, whether I will allow them to court me, but they get to try. They get to try. They get to try. If at all I still have desires for a husband and the rapture does not happen, men get to try. But when you have threatened a woman into oblivion, so much as a country, she starts to suspect literally yonke into wonke umuntu, everything and everyone that can ever write her as, what if he's gonna slap me with a flying kick, and when I start to discover that he's wicked, and when he starts to manifest demons, he's going to stalk me like that guy in America. For 2 years, girlfriend, I'm gonna be dealing with his witchcraft. The guy from South Africa that I used to think was my future husband, yeah, now he was all up in my grill for something like a year until I disappeared off the internet altogether, then I simmered down because he had no way of seeing what I'm doing. When you have put a woman through that much trauma because you just won't stop putting down magic wands, she's gonna be scared of even just humoring one conversation, because like I said, men get to try. They get to try. Like herein lies the deal. The way good guys, the way everybody is so rotten in these streets, good men, good godly men are struggling to find good godly women. Where they go every Sunday, Bible study at their churches where they go every Sunday, and Bible studies where they go every weekday, they are struggling to find truly pious women. They are having a hard time actually, I guess, meeting with the petitions they took to God in women, in their own environment. Ababatole, in the offices where they work, they are struggling. Similarly too, godly women having a really hard time being courted or pursued by godly men. So to write off the prospect of finding the love of your life or whatever, because they saw you doing something online and they did not meet you esontweni, they did not meet you in a Bible study or in the office, or whatever it is that might be the thing that made them realize, oh my goodness, that's bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh at last. You cannot write that off when we live in a society where the road is narrow that leads to life, and few there be that find it, but it is the great apostasy over and above the road being narrow. So Christians have always been few, but there are especially few now in this great apostasy. We are living in a world full of sorcery, lots of spiritual manipulation. So we're dealing with godly men, so women discover that, oh my goodness, Caesar is such a great guy. And then they all just vie for him, trying to like, I want Caesar. But tell us Caesar Caesar has to resist. Then there is Karabo. I personally, my own struggles of resista. I'm a daughter that want me with witchcraft, with Korobel. So the godly men themselves have to resist, and the godly women have to resist a flood of miscreants trying to take them trying to put a ring on their fingers with a whole godly human being. That's the first struggle. And then the second one is in actually finding a true saint that you get along with, that you're compatible with, what all these things, and then go into the sunset and marry them in your own environment. Because amasonto, awile, like, what do you call this? Apostate. People are professing Christ when they don't know him from a bar of soap. And so it's just becoming, it's so hard to meet one another. But when you finally see someone that you feel as if though, whoa, this is what I've been looking for. What under heaven are you like facing then as a man when this woman is like me? Like, I've been dealing with the flying kick all over the show. Appearing bell bottom the 60s, the way thing of men that keep on sliding into my DMs and then getting irritated with my lack of appropriate response to their licentious agenda. And then I get hurt and I get broken and I come and I do a video where I'm lamenting again about yes, like these guys, like, whoa, you keep crying. And then that person listens to you speaking about how it is that you can't stand labo guy. Rubbish nonsense. Nonsense rubbish from here to Timbuktu. Against men. And you're not gonna want to be offended. So you might even just like walk right by. So it just makes it really gangster difficult. I don't know how Christians marry like proper. I literally do not know how they meet. I don't know. Then again, God is God, okay? He is holy, he is perfect, he is omnipresent, and he's omnipotent. He can do what he wants. But I'm just trying to highlight out there that Derek Prince was right. We're living in an era or a time in these last days where there is just so much witchcraft all over the show that for the sake of ending up married. It's just a very scary thing to enter into a relationship with the hope of ending up uchatil. It's just, hey guys, when you have got to fast for 40 days, 40 nights like Jesus Christ in the wilderness, not eating anything or even drinking anything, just to confirm if a guy, aksu sataniana, aye guys, what in the world? And when you do fast you've been with like 14 prospects before that have come to try and court you claiming they're Christians. And every time you entered into that 40 days, 40 nights fast, every last one of them got found wanting. They manifested demons. They all pulled down my stance. Will you not be paranoid? Won't you be paranoid? If 14 other guys abazamile, when you were 3 days into your fast, he became rude. Gwapumanje inyoga out of his mouth when he spoke to you. Fine, left, fine. Swipe right or whatever you call it. By the time the right guy comes, even to fast. You will be exhausted. You will be tired. You will be like, yo, akso omunye lona. Ngiyabazi ukuthi banjani labantu. Noma cute akunandaba. Noma mude akunandaba. Noma khuluma right Christian man, how they know how to speak Christianese. Yes, like if they can speak Christianese. These people can speak Christian language. They've got the tongue of God. Even in email. Out here writing you an email and you be thinking, ooh, that sounds like such a godly guy. All involved, heavy, deep, the toes, everything dug into the occult. Uya taga tata gi 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 gi. Taga t t t. Wait, thinking, involved, hard knock in the darkness. He wants you by fire by force, pretending to be Christian. Able to speak Christianese. Why? Because he was raised in a Christian household, and so therefore he was always all up in that Bible. He therefore knows how to speak Christianese. He knows how to quote scripture. He knows how to rebuke certain behavior in the name of Jesus, and you will feel as if though this is it. And as soon as you let your guard down, alarm in a young district, it's even distracting my cat. As soon as you let your guard down, when you let your guard down, that's when this bugger then all up in your grill. As soon as you let your guard down, you then discover there are things that are morphing out of shape shifting. They're orbing, they're doing strange stuff. Like something is aghambeki lana. Maragana kotenge motho guy. I'm sorry guys, keep your earth. Like I literally cannot say this enough. Take your dingy planet that you have muddied with your sorcery, the South Africa that makes citizens on the ground walk around like zombies because you go to a new school and already you've got some dude that is crushing on you there that has bewitched you. You BS like guys. You go to a new office building. When I used to work at MTN, how many guys, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, okay? But out of the colleagues, there was that guy, and about 5 of my male colleagues used sorcery on me. Trying to get me in their lives. About 5. Guys, who am I going to end up with out of all 5 of you? Who? So now imagine if at some point I was getting contacted by MultiChoice for an interview. I didn't go because I did not believe in their thing that they were doing, their industry, the entertainment, all of that. Like, yeah, I just went against my principle. I didn't want to work for MultiChoice. It's that basic. But MultiChoice wanted to call me in for an interview. If I had taken that job interview and successfully interviewed for MultiChoice, good thing. They were looking for project managers. I would have then worked in a new company and met 5 new nasties, colleagues. That might have found me cute, interesting, smart, whatever. And you know how I said earlier, using that song, yeah, Mr. Selwyn, sort of like ignora, sort of like ngiyabora, sort of like she's top shayela, uyenza like angwazukushela, yeah. A guy that then feels insecure in the presence of a woman that I'm funayo. Kwamele mina manje, seeing as I left MTN. And so those guys no longer have access to me. So I guess it's one of those, oh, menyimfuna kodwa hambila akaseko. She's left the company, yeah, she's gone. So the Korobela just kind of lingers in the sky. I then go to a new company, and then 5 more guys slap me. If you then move to another company, another 5 go tengo pil, or a new colleague starts working and likes you, and then it's like tla tla tla. How many spells are operating against people at any given moment? How many? They have just muddied the cosmos. Those 5 guys, all of them menga bafuni. I was not interested, but I did get all of these licentious dreams. That's what I'm saying. The spells affected in causing me exhaustion, fatigue, the feelings that you get spiritually when people are busy with you, you get those feelings even if you resist them. So manje, with so many people practicing, trying to do the same thing, with so many people trying to pull the rug from underneath your feet, so many people trying to take your career, so many people trying to get you to be demoted, so many people trying to force you to quit your job in your company and move elsewhere because they want to take your position, with so many people trying to manipulate your life to go in a strange direction that you have not chosen for. What do you think is the cosmic state of the country then? What is the end result, spiritually, of all of that? I need to know. What is the end result, guys? It's cataclysmia, it's disorder, and it is a cesspool environment that makes it very hard for Christians to find each other. I might indeed, potentially, it is possible. Nothing is impossible for God to meet a man. But would I want to live in a world like this, marry a man, the wedding of which is obviously going to be sabotaged? It's obviously going to get a whole bunch of witches coming up against it. It's like proper. It's exhausting to live in an occult state. It's exhausting to live in an occult world. because you are always having to enter into a fast and praying and breaking spells and casting out demons. And I mean, if that's, even Jesus did not cast out demons every day. Christ did not deal with entities every single day of his life. Jesus did not have to deal with evil spirits every day of his life. And so last days saints, what we're expected to achieve is frankly unreasonable. And that is the reason why God removes the restrainer. He does not want us constantly, all year long, 5 times a month. Busy when our faster. Guys, because some demons only come out with fasting and prayer. Like, it's unsustainable. They are everywhere. They live among us. They are our colleagues. They are our friends. They are family members. They're everywhere. Another worst one for me are the ones who try to put you into a whole lifelong union called a marriage using witchcraft. The ones telling intimacy, sex. Yes, like they're the worst. They're the worst. Because that is a union that people cannot afford to mess with. Because that's where legacies are built. That's where children are born. And that's where your biggest partner in life comes from. That's where all decisions that you're going to have to make for the rest of your life need to be allied with forever. You can't just marry badly, guys. It is the worst decision to make badly in the world. I would go so far as to say in the world, like there is nothing else in our lifetimes that is more important than the decisions that we make for spouses. So, some animal. Sorry guys. Yeah, I can't. Angwazi. The way me I was like, but like, this is a life decision. Putting a whole human being in my stomach, coming from this guy, and bringing that human being into the world and raising it for all of its, childhood days with this human being. That whole decision, it being made for me, I literally can't freaking deal. I can't deal. Your chat this one, in daughter that decides to give me, it's like proper calling dibs on me. He sees me in the office and decides that like an archer from a distance, he's just going to make like Cupid whoop and put one in my buttock. And next thing, I'm gonna go and give him children and build a whole legacy, a whole life, a whole purpose with a man that spiked my drink. I can't. I don't know why people don't see stuff like that. It's a life decision. I also don't want to kill a man. And I don't want a man killing my children. I don't want to raise children by myself. I don't want to be upset and irritated all the time by a recalcitrant man that is changing his mind about decisions we made even before we got married. Because he's obviously no longer feeling it necessary to maintain his best foot forward. Now that he has banked me inside a marriage. I don't want to be one of those miserable women that can't believe what an animal or a monster a man became once we finished our vows. Once we got married, I then learned the shock of my life. What a little animal, a complacent he is. Guys, I know, like anyway, whatever, aguna kamva. There's no future for us. The fact that I am so exhausted, the fact that I'm so tired today, to a point where I napped, is unacceptable. 8 hours go fail, maybe more, maybe 10, and yet I could not carry my body through the day because of all this witchcraft operating in this country of mine, on the internet, coming from international strangers even. This world is dingy, dusty, dark. It just needs to be cleaned. A spring cleaning mission is underway, and there is no way to spring clean without moving furniture. Y'all need to understand, God is about to judge the world. We are headed into the rapture, and the great tribulation is gonna come. Because this here is not a spring cleaning effort that you can just merely lift some person's legs up and vacuum underneath their feet. You can't just merely lift a carpet and sweep underneath it and then put the carpet back again. It is so dark and dingy that furniture has to be taken out. Wall-to-wall carpets ripped out. New tiles put in. A whole refurbishment and painting happen. Otherwise, the house is no longer habitable. Like, those houses that have got wooden walls that have got like termites inside the walls. Like when you're sleeping, you can actually hear them just gnawing away at the wood. That is a structure that needs to be brought down altogether and then re-erected and then put back up again. That's how dirty the earth is. There's termites in the walls. There's cockroaches in the kitchen counters. There's rodents in the ceiling. There's insects in the piping. It needs a complete haul, a refurbishment, and a change of scenery, a change of furniture. The world needs cleansing through the wrath of God, because the season of mercy and grace is through. Ain't nobody out here trying to be reduced to an OnlyFans model, even though they're a Christian. on the internet because men are thoroughly expecting me to share photographs of myself despite having access to my Facebook page to see me smiling, taking pics, talking about how Christ grew my hair. Why do you want a photo of my face if you're not one day going to ask me for a photo of my breasts? I'm not about to be reduced to an OnlyFans model. This world is done for. I'm signing out in Christ's name, Crank. I hope you've been edified. Bye.